Okay, here we go again. Another blog with former IFBB pro John Hodgson. Basically, first question, last weekend's UK show, what did you think?
I mean, the UKBFF British.
That's the one, mate.
Yeah.
Your stomping ground.
Ooh, straightforward win for Sass, wasn't it? Heavyweight winner, overall winner, rightly so, head and shoulders above everybody else. Only other person really that really stood out to me, I think, was a guy from the over 90s intermediates. I think he's called Matty, I can't think of his surname. Apologies to the lad. Brilliant, absolutely bags of potential there. So I think he's got a great future. Other than that, I didn't see any of the juniors. I must admit, there was 1-2 good ones in there. But from what I saw in the weight classes, quite heavy in the lineups, 20, 22. But I'll be honest with you, I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing anything that really excites me. There was no real strength in depth. There was nothing that really stood out. And I'm thinking, I've been saying it for quite a long time now, and I feel like I might be a negative bastard, but what's going on? You know, come on, where's the conditioning, and where's these solid freaky legs and so forth? And I'm like thinking, fucking hell. And I'm not, it's not just me, because people were coming up to me and saying, hey John, what do you think? You know, and I was just shaking my head, and they're saying, what's happened to the condition? What's happened to all the great physiques? And I went, you tell me. You tell me. So the debate's been going on for quite a while, and you know, it's, so I mean, you've got your social media. Even though we're doing this social media, it's like, hopefully we're trying to reach out to people and get the message across. But I think a lot of the time when you see them, people training these days, they're not really concentrating what they're doing in the gym 100%. They're more interrupting, stopping, film me doing this, take a picture of me doing that. You know what I mean? It's like when you're in the gym, for me it was all about head down, get the job done. You know, when I was training, no one came near me. You know, it was right twat.
So, what, obviously, the condition is lacking than what it was 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the conditions, like, I don't think you can see that in a lot of the pro shows these days as well. You know, you look at the Olympia and you look at 20 years ago, 95, 96, 98, 97, all the top 10, top 6, the standard and conditioning was phenomenal. You know, and especially the Britons as well, the 90s, as we keep saying, is the golden age. So, you know, you've got to look at what was going on back then, and you know, supposedly you're supposed to advance as time goes on, but really, do you know what I mean? No, the conditioning is definitely not missing, and that's another thing that a lot of people came up to me. What's happened, John? Where's this granite crisp conditioning gone?
Do you think it's a lot to do with these prep coaches and gurus giving false information rather than learning about your own body?
Well, there is that argument. There is that, and like I mean, it's an area that we've covered before. You know, about the prep coaches and stuff like this. A lot of people leaning on other people. There are some people that know what they're doing, but ultimately, what people come to me and say, "Oh, can you know prep me for this, that, and the other?" But my argument is more to the point: is what have you been doing in the off season? Because the off season is where you build that solid foundation. So if you've been fucking and fighting about in the off season, not been grinding out the workouts and building, and more at the point, have you just been eating whatever you want and shit? Me, I was dead on. I was on the money. Yeah. So I was doing. I mean, Kerry used to laugh at me, Kerry Case. And he'd say, you know what, John? He said, I've met all of them. I've been surrounded by all of them. And he said, I have never, ever met anybody like you. He said, because he said, you're just like a robot. But for me, it was like train hard, eat right. You know what I mean? Obviously, if I wanted a bit of a treat, I'd have a treat. Yeah. But the off season was fucking so important. And then when I come to diet for a show, the transition from my food was basically the same. It was just a case of introducing cardio, and then as and when I needed to, I'd up my cardio a bit more and then cut back a bit. It was common sense, and it doesn't seem to apply these days. People, I don't know what they're fucking looking for, whether they want to have a shoulder to cry on, you know what I mean? But I think sometimes they're looking for a secret that isn't there. The secret to getting in condition is eating ultra clean and getting your cardio in. And guess what? When it really starts to fucking hurt and your head's halfway up your arse, well, it needs to go right up your arse, because that's how far you need to get in great condition. Yeah. You have to go to a very dark place. Yeah. A very dark place.
So it's one of them, innit? Right, I've got a comp now, I've got 12 weeks to go, I better clean my diet up.
Well, exactly. And
it's too late.
Well, it is, it's too late. And I did an article, and it's been spread a few times on the Facebook and that, called Setting the Stage. And I did it back in early 2000s. And it just explains the basic principles of how to do it. You follow that and you won't be a million miles out. So, it's like when people say, oh, but I'm carb sensitive. No, you're not. You're fucking work shy sensitive. You're not working hard enough. If you work hard enough, you need your carbohydrates. Yeah. Well, unless you've got a problem with your pancreas and you're diabetic, then, your carbs and all that. But come on, to turn around and say you don't need carbs, you're not fucking bollocks. Absolute nonsense.
You need your carbs to fuel.
Of course you need carbs.
With no fuel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're training hard, and obviously need carbs. Well, the basic Krebs cycle. You don't have carbs. The Krebs cycle, your metabolism and the metabolic rate is impaired. So how can you expect to have muscle? You know what I mean? If you've not got the basic nutrients in there, it's all about balance. So if your off-season diet is quality, which it should be, then you've got a platform in which to work from. These people who, some people might get ultra fat. Lee Priest used to get ultra fat, and he always pulled it in. But most people will not be able to do that. Can't do that because it's too much of a change. Mentally, they can't handle it. That's why I see it anyway.
So basically, if you eat good on the off season as well, it's not a bigger shock because you're already eating clean.
Well, how do you build quality muscle? You don't build it by eating shit, do you? The fundamental principles of bodybuilding is to train hard, which is actually breaking muscle tissue down, and then the building up process is what takes place outside of the gym. So common sense and logic dictates you've got to have good quality food supplying sufficient protein, at least a good gram and a half possibly per pound of body weight, and then carbohydrates should be around about 2 to 3 grams per pound of body weight in the off season. You know what I mean? Depending upon where you're at. I used to weigh out my foods and calculate roughly what my intake would be for the day, and it's not difficult to weigh out your foods. Just people psychologically, for some reason, go, oh, that's a lot of hassle. And by the time people have cooked the food who don't weigh it out, and people like me who weigh it out, I guarantee there's not much of a difference in time frame. It might be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
take a bit of an effort, a bit of attention to detail.
I've not got time to weigh it. Why not?
Yeah, no, you can't be fucking
you
arsed.
Can't be
that's
arsed.
what it means. You know what I mean? So it's all about proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. That's what it is, all the piece.
Yeah. So SAS
pissed it.
Yeah.
Fair play to him, deserved it, and I think it was only a matter of time. So there's him in now. So in the heavyweights now we've got SAS. We've got Nathan D'Asha. So for a long time, I think we've got 2 good heavyweights now that can really go out there, who know how to get in condition, who've got a great frame and a great physique, and possibly be in exciting times ahead to see what they can do in the pro ranks. So I wish them the very best, I think. And I think with this Matty coming through, he's like Flex Wheeler. I think he'll win the overall Britain if he does it next year. He certainly will be there, he'll win it either next year or the year after, definitely. In my opinion, unless someone else comes out, but he was very impressive. But other than that, I think people really need to fucking sort out their act. Sorry.
Talking of Flex, your old stomping ground, Mr. Lewis.
What did I say? Said he'd run it, didn't I? What can you say? He's pretty much, got everything there, very well put together. It's probably what got the one physique that would probably inspire most people around the world. If you was to ask anybody and line them all up in pictures and say, who would you like to look the most of? I guarantee at this moment in time, Flex would probably be the one that would run out with the highest percentage. If you was to have one of them, like a list of various people, and then he'd have press this or press that. I think, Flex would be the one because, he's well put together and, beautifully put, flows and everything that you want. I mean, it's not grotesque to look at. It's not. It's like wow, and that's what bodybuilding was about. Remember when we were inspired and it was like wow, look at that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was the wow factor. and that's what he's got. So,
Good lines.
oh, beautiful lines, beautiful lines.
Is that a life-size picture of you in the background there, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like it. Can
Yeah.
you feel the love?
Can you feel the love?
Wherever I go, yes, I'm a
Yeah.
short ass.
Yeah. Good condition though.
That's your condition up there. That's what it's about. And good condition, it's, how can I say, no, it is difficult to attain and achieve, but it's not if you follow but it's about keeping it simple and keeping the basics in place. But that's what will win and lose you. If you're not strong enough mentally, if you've not got it upstairs, and you can't endure the pain, then you're not going to meet it. You know what I mean? It's everything is all about that. The mind determines how far you can push yourself, and it's no shame if people crumble. If you really want to get in that real standout condition, that where you go, what the hell? These people have grafted like hell, and many will crumble and fall by the wayside. Possibly, trying to attain that. So no, in principle, I probably sometimes short sell myself with regards to what the condition I did get in. But it takes a certain mindset. But if you want to be up there and you want to be challenging and be considered one of the best, then that's what you got to do, aren't you?
Well, that's what you were known as, weren't it?
Well, they nickname him Mr. Condition. But at the end of the day, I remember James Llewellyn in 2008 got in stupid condition. Paul George was another one who got in great condition. And then you've got Dorian and Ronnie Coleman, who were the opposite end, who were like 260, 280 pounds, who got in great condition. You know what I mean? There goes a rollover, that's shaped up the milkshake. Someone just rolled the milkshake across the ground like that,
That's how you mix it.
Like
Hardcore.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is when it comes to condition, it makes me laugh though when people turn around and say, oh well, it's easier, he's only short. Oh, it's harder for us big guys to get in condition. That's a lot of fucking bollocks. It's all about you're not putting together the pieces in place, and you're not wired up mentally enough to push the boundaries and get in shape. If that was the case, Ronnie and Dorian wouldn't have got in shape. All these guys at the top who were quite like 240 pounds plus wouldn't get in shape. It's just lots of bullshit. So get your shit together, man up, and fucking dig deep.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Okay.
Happy with that?
Happy? Yeah. Everything else? You want to put anything in?
No, not at all. Carry on.
Carry on.
Till next time.
So, bye.